If your Instagram reach is low and it feels like you just can't go past a certain threshold, there actually might be something seemingly innocent, like a setting you forgot you changed 3 years ago or something like that. And that is actually what could keep your account from growing anywhere or growing anything at all. And because Instagram is Instagram, obviously, there's an endless list of little details that people just don't even know about that could keep you stuck. And because I've been working with probably 200 plus creators hands-on within my creator mentorship program over the past 12 months, let me actually show you the 13 most common easy fixes you can implement right now to, grow your account and to get out of this weird algorithm mess. Now, the first one has actually been something I've been tracking recently, and I don't have 100% clear proof data on that, but you're actually the first ones that I shared this with. If you have an old account or multiple old accounts you used to create content for, whether it's a private account or some account where you were that you actively used actually with your name and with a similar, where actually you were the profile picture of the account, this could be why your current account or any of the accounts you create are stuck with very low numbers. Now, usually you can get rid of this whole reach threshold by putting the original accounts that you have to private at least, but the safest fix is actually just to delete those old accounts and just use one of your main accounts. Now here's what's up though. This only applies if the account that you have right now is somewhat similar to the ones you were doing before. So if it's in the same niche or something like this. So if it's about something totally different, let's say one account is about you and your pet cow, Tracy, the cow whisperer or something like that, and the other account is about you, the airplane mechanic. Obviously it's a little bit different, but if it's very similar, your reach might be suppressed. Like I said, I don't have 100% data on that, I'm still collecting, but it seems like they take a look at your name and your profile picture and similar style of content, and if they see you have 2 or 3 similar accounts, your reach will just be locked down and really low. If you have meta verified, by the way, that's even worse because they actively take a look out at accounts that impersonate you. So if they find another account that actually has content from you, or with the image recognition software and stuff like this, if they see, well, this is might be actually the cow whisperer, Tracy the cow whisperer, well, we're gonna keep the reach down and you'll have issues growing with another account. Now, this whole thing has to do obviously with this new original content update about the algorithm, where they basically suppress reach with reposted content and stuff like this. So that's the next thing you really have to be careful with. Do not repost stuff. Do not cross post stuff from 2 accounts unless it's a collaborator thing, and unless it's not really just, basically don't have 2 accounts doing similar things or the same things again. It just doesn't work anymore. That's one thing that has totally changed since, let's say, a year ago, where I totally recommended that to a lot of people. Now, the next one is actually a lot similar to that, but it's actually a little bit more nuanced, and you actually have to be really, really careful. What Instagram really hates the most, and the algorithm really punishes it, is if you have a second account, doesn't matter if it's affiliated with it or whether it's totally different with a different email address, with a different name, with a different profile picture, and you actually use that one to give the other account engagement, like giving comments, giving, likes, liking stuff like this, sharing stuff like this. Now, if you only use this every once in a while to kind of incite some discussion in the comments, which is yet another growth hack, by the way, it's all right. But if if the algorithm recognizes some sort of pattern where they can see, okay, this account, which is affiliated with the other account by using the same phone or internet and stuff like this, and they give each other inauthentic engagement, that's a bad thing. And this could be a reason why your reach just doesn't grow past a certain threshold. Now, they actually talk about this whole thing in their community guidelines. They call it something like artificially increasing engagement. Great. Artificially increasing engagement on a small scale, also bad, but it's even worse if it's on a bigger scale. For example, with buying engagement, for example, buying comments, buying likes. And there's actually plenty of sites out there that promise real followers, real likes, real engagement by promoting it to the right kinds of people. Let me tell you, I've been in this game for 7-8 years. It's a scam. There's not a single site that actually promises you that is actually legit. Because why? How? These things don't work anymore. Actually, they never worked in the first place. And actually, if you do that, the algorithm has ways of recognizing that. And in their community guidelines and in their recommendation guidelines, they talk about that. If you do that, we will just not show your account organically at all anymore. So if you do that, you'll hurt your chances of ever growing, or at least in the near future, growing organically at all. Now, again, please don't fall into the trap of getting fast likes or easy and quick followers and engagement, even if they're real looking. I know some creators that I'm not going to mention right now, or should I? No, we're not gonna. They make at least $20K per month, probably even more, by selling this crap to unsuspecting, why did I say crap? This crap to unsuspecting creators and businesses even, because I don't even want to get into that, because it actually looks 100% real from the outside. Again, it's not, it will mess up your account for a long time. Same thing, by the way, and I shouldn't have to mention this, but a lot of times when I work with new clients, or if I scroll through my comments, it's not clear, it seems like, which is engagement groups, meaning groups or like exchanges where you're in a group, whether it's in the same niche, let's say you're all fashion creators, and you basically post each other's links. Whenever you post, everybody goes to each other, likes and comments something, because you're in the same niche and because you give each other engagement, you just help each other out. But please do not do that. It's not going to help you. It's counted as artificially boosting engagement. Also, it just confuses the hell out of the algorithm. So organic video content, first and foremost, is the only way to grow. Of course, there's a few hacks that help you. We're not going to talk about them today, which is, by the way, why you should subscribe right now to not miss out on future videos, obviously. But here's actually another few things where it actually gets really special and weird, and you would have never thought about this at all. If you talk about certain things, if you post certain things, or if you have certain things in the background, I'm not going to show you, apart from the obvious stuff again, like something that might be back there, or talking about self-harm and, you know, stuff like this. You're also not supposed to talk about or show stuff that's related to tobacco, like smoking or vaping related things, or adult products or services, or even, you know, stuff like pharmaceutical drugs. If you're in any of these niches, obviously it's kind of hard for you to grow. There are ways, but your best thing is just to tiptoe around these things if it's in your own niche. But, and here's where it gets really crazy, my friends. It does, even if it has nothing to do with the content at all, if there's a vape in the background or something else, or if you're just create your content and you're just smoking while you create the content because you feel like it's cool, I'm smoking a cigar or stuff like this. Yeah, but Instagram might suppress and will suppress your reach actually with that. Now, that by far is not all though, because if we again go through the continually updated list of things that they don't really like, one thing they totally hate is content about cosmetic procedures. You know, I don't even know what exactly they mean, and that's the issue with Instagram. They don't really specify that. But if you talk about, you know, lip filler or cutting your up for the sense of being more beautiful, stuff like this, no go for Instagram. Your reach will be suppressed. The other thing is, that might be actually a little bit more relevant to a lot of you, is if you talk about supplements, like weight loss supplements. And if you're in the fitness niche, which some of my clients are, and obviously fitness, health, and nutrition are all related. And as we know, the algorithms are by far not good and not perfect, and they could kind of misunderstand things that you talk about. Let's say you talk about a certain supplement, and you the algorithm kind of figures out that this could be something to do with weight loss. It could be a supplement for weight loss. Don't ask me why they're so focused on weight loss supplements, especially because that's what they call out there. Well, they will just suppress your reach. So be really careful with that. Now, there's actually another issue that's related to that, but on a bigger scale, and that's even something that could really mess up your account. We're going to talk about this in a second. But the other thing that you just should not talk about is anything that you could label as risk-free, especially if you have a business that is kind of attached to Instagram, could get you into trouble. Let me just pull this up, and they will not show, or they will suppress accounts that consistently post low quality stuff. Now, what does that mean? There's a few things. Pause or take a screenshot right here if you want to see the whole thing. But one thing that actually not a lot of people are aware of is what they call content from websites that get a disproportionate amount of clicks from Instagram versus other places of webs. So if your content is somehow associated with website that mostly gets their traffic from Instagram or Meta or Facebook, they will suppress your reach, which is kind of an issue. Let's say you're a creator and you have a business, you sell a course or whatever it is, and obviously most of your traffic comes from Instagram. This could potentially be bad. Now they have a whole rating around that, has a lot to do with your whole trust score, about the algorithm, about your Instagram account, stuff like this. But be careful with that. Ideally, you have other traffic sources as well, like Google, trying to rank in Google, just trying to rank, right? Or just on YouTube or stuff like this, just to get more traffic sources to your website. Now, it's not the biggest issue, to be honest. And I do have a lot of clients who are creators who mainly get their revenue through Instagram and mainly get their reach, their traffic on their website through Instagram. But I just wanted to have that set because it's in there and it's one of the things that Instagram just apparently really doesn't like. Now, another thing Instagram really does not like at all is, and unfortunately that's not defined again by Instagram because they suck. Did I just say that? But yeah, at least they suck in terms of communicating a lot of things. They say clickbait and engagement bait content is not being tolerated and they will not show this to people. Now, what exactly that means, again, we have no real idea, because this is where some people might be like, damn, I'm doing this all the time. For example, with Manychat, because a lot of times I'm like, comment the word apple strudel, and I will send you something in the DMs. Obviously, the whole Manychat type of thing. We've talked about this here before. And a few weeks ago, the Instagram creator account had a weird video going up where they were like, we don't tolerate that anymore. So a lot of people were confused, especially about the whole Manychat situation. They were like, well, Manychat, that's like one reason why I actually get so much reach and why I got a lot of business and revenue, stuff like this through Instagram. And suddenly it's not allowed anymore. Here's what's up. All of the accounts that I work with, one-on-one in my creator mentorship, Manychat is still okay. It's still an official way of using that. And I can 100% say, if you say comment the word X and you'll get Y, it's not considered engagement bait. However, a lot of the times, and I see that here on Instagram, on YouTube, and also in some courses that I sometimes buy from some people just to see what's out there, they say stuff, for example, like, you need to follow the account name, add the account name, and paste it 3 times in a row just for people to click on it. Please don't do that. This is what would be considered engagement bait. Also, stuff like tag a friend and stuff like this, they don't really like that anymore. Used to work really well, which gets me to the next very related thing that's probably a surprise to some of you. Anything what we just talked about in relation to engagement bait or clickbait, and in relation with giveaways or contests of any sort, no go. So giveaways used to be a very good way of getting followers and getting your reach through Instagram. Not so much anymore. Instagram actually calls out giveaways or contests and labels them as content users broadly dislike. So just don't use them. It will not help you. Quite the opposite, actually. Now, here's where it gets even more special and crazy on a bigger scale, because even if you don't do any of the things we just talked about, and if you're totally fine in terms of with things about the community guidelines and adhering, just being a good kid on Instagram, your account still might be what people call shadow banned, and you still might not be able to reach past a certain reach threshold because of some other minor small details you might have missed. The first thing is something that I actually have battled for a long time on my private account, and it was a pain in the ass to fix. It actually took me more than a month to fix. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that right now, but if you have been banned from running ads on the Meta ad platform somewhere, on Facebook, for example. So be it on Facebook or on Instagram, doesn't matter. Or if any of the ad accounts are restricted from advertising who are actually linked to your Instagram account, yeah, you might not even be aware of that. But for example, if you use Manychat, or if you just have a professional account, a lot of times people have a Facebook account, a Facebook page actually that's linked to it in order to run certain things like Manychat, and you might not be aware that this account might be restricted from advertising, and that's what keeps your reach down. For example, at the beginning of my recent creator mentorship cohort, right, just a month or 2 ago when we started, we went through some of the accounts of our clients, and turns out some actually had their Facebook ad account restricted without them even knowing, because they never got a notification, because they never log into Facebook anymore, because they're like, we just need to have this account. Turns out a lot of the times it actually was restricted. So please take a look right now at your ad account. Chances are it's locked. For most of our clients, it was a very easy fix, because I think you need to kind of upload an ID or verify your ID or something like that in order to be technically able to use Meta advertising. It's a law or something like that. And if you don't have an ID on file or something like that, your account gets restricted, and that has repercussions for your Instagram account. Now, there's a bunch of more things Instagram just doesn't like, things that will just not get your account recommended anymore, that will keep your reach low. Feel free to pause the screen right now and screenshot stuff like this. There's actually a lot. So make sure to fix all of these things that we talked about first of all. And now that we've actually taken care of these issues, now it's time to create videos that actually blow up with the latest algorithm in mind. And guess what? Thankfully, I made a video right here showing you some untapped strategies, all in line with the latest Instagram algorithm, that get my clients tons of views every day.